Welcome to the stream. This is Live Free or Die Bard. I'm your host, Jinx. This is episode 14, Fine Tuning Adventure Notes. See what I did there? Bard? Fine tuning? Yeah, you got it. Welcome and welcome back. To those of you who are here in the chat, feel free to participate at any time. Interject your thoughts, and I will try and incorporate them into our adventure. What are we doing? We are making a campaign, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. We are doing it from scratch. We have been doing it now for several episodes, and we are wrapping up our first adventure today, actually, before we move on to the rest of our low-level adventures. We are storing our notes on Obsidian Portal. The web address is on your screen now. livefreeorddiebard.obsidianportal.com. If you are new to the stream, you will know that that is a campaign management website that we are using to keep all of our notes and showcase our cool campaigns. You can go there and try it out for free. You can upgrade and get all the cool features like I have with an Ascendant account, and you can go check it out, see what work we've done so far, and other stuff that we've got going on. So, the stream so far, we have built our Adventure 1 from scratch. We've got all kinds of cool stuff going on. I'll go through it here in a little bit so you can see what's up, because we are, we're going to walk through it. We're going to look for things that we can update this week. We're going to look for things that we can clean up, make easier to read. Because you can go to the site, you can run this campaign if you want to. The GM notes are all in the adventure log, which is right over here. And when you bring this up, you will have your first adventure right here. You open it up, you look around, you basically read down the list, read the things in the boxes, follow the instructions, bring up the links that you need to bring up. We've got all of our characters and things like that ready to roll. And then you'll be able to move on from there. So, what we need today to get started, for those of you in the chat already, for those of you who are just joining us, we do musical puns. We cram in as many musical puns and music artists and things like that into our game. Everyone in the story so far has like a funny name related to a singer of some kind or a band or something like that. We have a bunch of bards or other entertainers as our party members. We're going to be running around doing funny things. Everything's titled with musical puns. So if you have any musical puns, and you see a spot where we need to put one, please put it in the chat. Also, later on, huzzah, Dan Plays VR. Welcome back to the chat. For later on in the episode, we're going to be planning the rest of our low-level adventures. In D&D, that's levels 1 through 5 are considered kind of the lower levels. You get slightly less deadly challenges if your DM is nice anyway, and you sort of learn the game, have lower level powers, and then after that you start ramping up the power levels, fighting bigger and badder stuff. Challenges get more lethal. So what we need for later levels, if you guys want to think about it in the chat, if you want to put in the chat your favorite songs and or albums, we will try and add some of those ideas to the names of our future episodes, the names of our future adventures for our low levels, which we'll be working on later on. So let me put this in the chat real quick. Challenge. Okay, chat challenge. Put your favorite songs, artists, and albums in the chat, and we will use them for our future adventures. Okay, there's your chat challenge for the day. I'll do some periodic reminders so that you know what that's about for new people who are joining us. Okay, that's the challenge for today. What's next? I should also mention a scheduling note for next week. Next week in the U.S. is Thanksgiving on my Thursday broadcast time. I'll be getting ready to go to Thanksgiving events, so we'll have a slightly modified version of the show. We will still be having the show, same bat time, same, I guess, Bard time, same Bard channel. At 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. I think that's GMT -5 right now. And if I can get my fast forwarding videos to work correctly, which I believe I've figured out how to do, we will be doing some mapping videos. You can watch me draw some hand-drawn maps and stuff like that. So while you're cooking your turkeys and dealing with family members and things like that, you can chill out, listen to some music, and watch me make maps next week for a little while. So we'll have that going on next week for a modified holiday schedule. And then we'll probably do something again kind of similar around Christmas time. But that's next week. This week, let's take a look. We're trying to make everything look nice. Right now, it's still kind of wall of text. We have some images and some colored text and some cool fonts. This is one of our Google fonts that we were using from a couple of episodes ago. We showed how to put that in. If you need to learn some custom styling, some CSS, which is, what does it stand for? Cascading style sheets. That is an option for an upgraded Obsidian Portal account. And basically you can make things look pretty much however you want by doing a little bit of coding. If you want to learn how to do any of that stuff, you need to tune into our other official Obsidian Portal video program stream on Twitch. That is on Tuesday nights. That's Kalak. He's coding, teaching you how to do it on the CSS campaign. And that's on, let's see, that's 10 p.m. Eastern Time, which is GMT -5. So that's, you can do the calculations, Google it. But that's where I'm learning all of my CSS. I am a novice at it, but I've still managed to get quite a few things done. We're going to do a couple more things. I like this font that we have. I currently have it on our heading 3 options. I want it on more of the heading options, so I'm going to try and make those adjustments now. So to do CSS, you have to insert it into your code. You go to your Settings tab over here on the bottom left-hand side of your tools on the sidebar there. You go to the Advanced section, and here's where you have all your cool advanced tricks you can do. I have the upgraded Ascendant account, so I can do custom CSS, and here's what I've got so far. We have a section for, this is how we're doing our font, our Google fonts. You can add Google fonts. Over on this side with this little plus to add another font, you go to look up Google fonts, just Google it. They have a bunch. And you just type the name in for whichever one you want, and it'll load it for you. We currently have this one loaded for our heading 3. We also have, this is our little text block thing that we're using for block quotes for reading things. We have a drop shadow and some stuff like that, so some cool stuff there. So I want to do this, but I want to do it for our other headings. And let me show you what those other heading options are. When you go to edit your pages, you will have right up here, I can't really highlight those, but right here where the H's are, you have H1 through H6. Down here at the bottom, I think H1 is the big one and H6 is the small one. That's how you do your sort of font sizes. But we want this for more than just the H3. I want it for all of them, at least for now, until we come up with some better fonts or different fonts or stuff like that. So there's probably a better way to do this, but I want to keep it separate in case we want to change it later. So I'm going to add a couple more in here. So I Control-C to copy that little chunk. I Control-V to paste it. I'm going to make that my heading 2. Do the same for heading, come back, heading 1. So H1, H2, H3. We're just adding some styling to our elements, basically. Like I said, if you want the actual tutorial, tune in to Kalak Codes on Tuesdays. He went to school for this stuff, so he actually knows what he's talking about. I'm just learning as I go, but it's pretty easy. You can also get onto our forums and ask questions of our many expert users on the Obsidian portal forums. They will help you out. Okay, that's my H1 through 6. Let's see if I've done it correctly. If I haven't, it'll give you a little error message up at the top. It says campaign was successfully updated, so I didn't make too many errors. And as you'll see, much of our text has already changed to look like we want it to. So here you go. We've got anything with a heading on it that's not basic text now should have, yep, our cool Google font on there, which was, what was it called? Eagle's Nest? I forgot to look. Something Eagle. Eagle Lake. So if you want this font, it's called Eagle Lake. You can look it up in your Google Fonts and see what all the different options are. There's bunches. Okay, so we've made that look pretty. Let's check it out on what it looks like on our adventure. Yeah, so here you go. It's loading all the fonts in, and now our cool adventure will have some nice. All the text is adjusted. And then if I wanted to make any of the rest of this, I could just go in and edit it and give it, make it like a heading 2 or something, or heading 3, and then it would have that same font. So you don't have to change every single thing, just little things. You want to create as little work for yourself as possible. Other things you can do with the CSS, you can do all kinds of image animations and transitions, is what we learned about last time on Tuesday on the previous show. You can make just all kinds of neat little things to make things stand out. We reviewed a page where one of the users had made a little beating heartbeat for his front page. You were a fan. He turned this into a heart image and then made it beat, which was really cool. Saw that. It was a neat little touch, but there's lots of things you can do with that feature if you are upgraded. So that's pretty cool. Okay, let's see, we did our Google font. Let's go in and start looking at what we have so far and what we want to change. So the purpose of the episode is to basically make these notes easier to read. If a GM is going to run it from the page, everything needs to be accessible and nice and easy to get to. All of our links need to be in order and pleasant and easy to find and go to the right places. So we got to make sure we do a little bit of cleanup work. This may be true if you're keeping notes in a paper notebook or wherever. You want to do the same kind of thing. Highlight things that you need highlighted, stuff like that. So let's go through and look at what we want. All right, we haven't updated this front page in a while, and I think we should, to talk about what it's all about. All right, so this is your edit thing. There's a little pen and paper thing in the corner on most pages, or in this case it was a button. And this will show you what you've got so far. If you are new to the channel, you can do HTML, and you can also do Textile is the editor that we are using, Textile. And you can look up how to do that. It's basically kind of a shorthand version of straight up HTML for designing web pages. Pretty easy once you have your reference sheet. So I like our tagline here: "World of Music and Adventure awaits." If anybody thinks of any cool puns we can throw in, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll put them in there. All right, I think we can add to some of this. Epic battles on the horizon. You and your band are all that stand against the destructive power of an evil incursion. Now that we've written a little bit of plot, we know that we know a little bit more about our plot, so we can tweak this a little bit. An evil organization bent on dominating the musical magic of the realm. Okay, I want to make that, I want to italicize that. So to do italics, you can use this little thing up here, and then type whatever you want in between. We only need the one little underscore, whatever it's called, under there. And then to check your stuff, you can hit preview, and there it shows up right there. Easy. The editor also has a spell checker, so it's helpful for people who need a little bit of extra editing help. So this is what it looks like when you're putting a wiki link in. You have the double square brackets. The thing in front of the horizontal bar there, or sorry, vertical bar there is the slug for where you want your link to go, and the thing after it is the text that you want to appear. So I want that to say "read me" first. So that's where it is. Let's put in some other stuff. I actually want to change this because we're going to have some other stuff on this front page. Character creation rules, so that should match up. Alright, I want to go down here and add a little bit more cool stuff. Let's use one of our new heading doohickeys and see if it works correctly. Let's try an H5 and see what that looks like. Now we just type in what we want it to say next. I want to indicate to a DM that they can use this campaign page to run adventures. Dungeon Masters. Exclamation points. And we'll go down. Now that we've got their attention, hopefully. And we'll say you can use this Obsidian portal campaign to run adventures. Look in the adventure log for details. And then we can go ahead and put a list of what the adventures are going to be with a mini description right here so they can get to them fairly simply. Right now I'm just going to put the names of things. So the first one's called 2 Tickets to Paradise. What I'm using up here is the number thing. This will give us a numbered list. So it's basically a £, space, and then whatever you want to be there. We'll just put in some placeholders for now. So Adventure 2, Adventure 3, Adventure 4, and Adventure 5. And then I think if you do double £, it will do an indented number, double £, space, and we'll do Part 1 and Part 2. Alright, let's preview it, see if I was correct. I was. Look at that. I kind of know what I'm talking about occasionally. Not often. Alright, so this is where we'll put our names of the adventures. We'll put little descriptions once we finish the adventure of what the adventure is about, so that a dungeon master who can navigate to here can be like, oh, I need something for like level 4 characters, and that matches what I want. So we'll put links here and click that. So let's save it. Scroll down to the bottom and save. Here's our information. I might center this here in a minute. And that looks pretty good, but I need to get, let's go look up what the link is that we need for our Adventure 1 Chapter 1. So here's this. In our adventure log. So if you need the web address, if you're using this if you're just going to do straight HTML, just grab it out of the top there if you want to. And then let's see if I can remember my HTML well enough. href equals quotation, the quotation tag, and then you want the text that you want to appear, which was 2 tickets to paradise. And your little tags. A was anchor, if I remember my. Yes, you can insert adventure log links. We can do that also. We'll show you both ways. But let's preview and make sure we did this correctly. So there you go. It'll take you right there. So if you wanted to do it with HTML, you can do it that way. The other way to do it, I believe, is let's get rid of this. And I think you do WikiLink, right? Yep, here it is. WikiLink right up here at the top. This is the other way to do it. This is the easy way. So you can filter and search by wikis and adventure logs for your wiki pages. If you wanted to do characters and items, you do the character link and use that format, slightly different format. So we want to insert. It sets it up for us. I want to change the title to 2 tickets to paradise. Same thing. So 2 ways to do that. Pretty easy. And save. And there we go. And then we have our link. And then we'll put something after that to describe what the adventure is about. So this first adventure, for those of you who have been here the whole time already know this, but we're going to put it in for the rest of the people. So you're assuming that, let's say you have a dungeon master who shows up to your page. They're looking at it for the first time. They don't know anything about it. They don't have time to read a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to give them the quick and dirty description with the information that they need. So we're going to put a level 1 starter adventure for up to 6 characters. I'm going to put those in parentheses here. And then the description will be, let's italicize it. How would I describe this one? The party arrives in Paradise City. Oh, we can do a link here too, I think. Just in case. Let's see here. Let's search for it. Here it is, Paradise City. Party arrives in Paradise City. Where they are drawn into a small dungeon. Let's see, an intrigue. What kind of an intrigue would it be? A noblewoman's intrigue and a battle of the bands. That looks pretty good. Yeah, we do need a little bit of overland travel. That's a good point. So we can get some journey references going. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what we need. Okay, let's put our notes right here for Adventure 2. So we're still pretty low level. Journey. And let's look up some good. Let me preview this real quickly. Make sure I've got make sure it looks the way that I want it to look. Yep. So this is what it will look like. You'll have your link to the actual adventure. You'll have the little section where it talks about who the adventure is appropriate for, and then a description of the adventure with a link to the town if you need to look the town up. So that looks pretty good there. Okay, so let's very quickly, I'm going to open a new page here. Journey albums. Here's their discography. That might be worthwhile. Good old Wikipedia. What would we do without Wikipedia? Do any of you slightly older people remember Encyclopedia Britannica? It was just took a while. If you had one at all, they were expensive. So we're looking at album names right now. If any of these jump out at anybody, let me know. Fairly simple. Essential Journey. Let's do journeys. Let's do journey songs. Google usually gives you a little, here it is, a little side-scrolling cool thing of all their songs, generally by popularity, if you need songs. Yeah, Departure and Arrival, very apt. I'm going to answer this real quick. Okay. Some of my favorites, Don't Stop Believin'. Any Way You Want It. It's pretty good. Only the Young. Never Walk Away. Yep, that's pretty good. So the question is, what can we use? Let's use Journey Departure to get them out of town. And then kind of like Wheel in the Sky. There's some imagery there. I think we can use that as inspiration. Let's go back to Journey Departure Come here. Wheel in the sky. We're just using this as a note-keeping device right now for when we go to write the actual adventure. These will be our inspirational tidbits. So they're going to leave the town. So let's see here. This will be level 2 to 3, I think is where we got them to after Adventure 1. Depending on how much they do. Level 2 to 3 adventure for up to 6 characters. And then same thing with the underscores to make it italicized. And we'll just put some notes here for now. The party leaves town and discovers something amazing above their heads. Let's do amazing in the clouds. In the clouds. Wheel in the sky. That could be lots of stuff. That could be a floating fortress. That could be some kind of divine message. Remember, we have warring cults here. Still they ride. Under the title or section. That's good too. Let me put that in here in our Still they ride. Yeah, write down all your ideas when you're making D&D games. Very helpful. Okay, that's pretty good for now. Those of you who are just joining us in the chat recently, we have a chat challenge this week. If you want to put in your favorite albums, songs, or artists into the chat, the challenge is I'm going to try and incorporate them somehow into our future planning for adventures. We're finishing up our Adventure 1. We could try and squeeze a few more in there, and then we're planning out our adventures 2 through 5, which will culminate in them finding the magical rock organ that is beneath the town of Paradise City and dealing with the consequences of that. That's why I'm making Adventure 5 a Part 1 and a Part 2, because it's probably going to be a little bit expanded. Higher level adventurers can take that. They won't quail against such odds if we double up the dangers. Alright, that's pretty good for now. Let's save what we have so far. And here's our notes. So that's pretty good for now. It doesn't look super pretty yet. We're going to, as we learn more CSS on our Tuesday show, going to be adding things to that. I'm going to work on maybe getting some kind of drop shadows or something. Couldn't quite figure it out this week, but I think doing a cool text shadow. There's a text shadow option in CSS, and I'm curious if I can make it work or not on some of our links to make them pop out a little more. Or maybe a box behind it might be cool. Something like that. But that's generally what we're looking at right now. So that's for Dungeon Masters. World music and adventure awaits. Kind of want to. Yeah, that looks pretty good though. I'm curious actually if the Google font that we had chosen. Yeah, my H2 and my H5 look very similar. The font we picked might actually be affecting the size, so we might have to go into CSS and change size more manually if we want it to be bigger or smaller. Wonder if can we bold it? Let's find out. Preview. No, I don't think that particular Google font works with bold, so I'd be able to underline it. What was underline again? I think that's pluses. There it is. Yeah, that's cool. The underline. And then, yeah, that's pretty good. We'll do that. Okay. Save. And there it is. Alright. That's pretty good for our front page. We'll put some imagery on there, I think. When we get a chance. Let's look for that now. So we got a musical theme. So let's try Pixabay. They have lots of freebie images. Need something. Just search for a couple of. That guy's kind of funny, but oh, that's kind of a neat image. Spinning wheel and a musical instrument. Creepy old lady. Could use her for a character. Open that up later. Not much in the way of loots. Let's look up harps. Harps are kind of cool. Let's see. Do a cool guitar, perhaps. Kind of like the silhouette. Yeah, let's use this as an image for now. So Pixabay is the one site that I use. Unsplash is another site that I use if you're looking for freebie images. These particular ones are commercial free. Oh, I get to do the challenging on these. Select all the images with palm trees. Palm trees. Those trees are too far away to verify if they're palm trees or not. Moving on. Gotta train the AI. Okay. Download. Yes. Save. Open this up. You won't be able to see all this, but cut. So I'll need to do a little bit of cleanup work. To get that. Here. Put the image in here. Set positions. And then I should be able to open it. And I think I could show you guys. One second, let me open this up too. There it is. Okay. So I opened it up in paint.net. Free image manipulation software kind of thing. I want to resize this a little bit. I don't want it to be super huge, and I want to crop. So I'm going to use my rectangle select tool to take a chunk kind of out of the middle here. Crop it, and then I'm going to shrink it to make the file size smaller. I'm thinking Let's do like a 500 pixels across, probably good. Then I'll save it. You guys won't be able to see all my little modal windows that pop up, but that's basically that. Alright, let me get rid of paint.net. Oh, you guys couldn't see that anyway because I didn't fade it in. My bad. Yeah, I was showing this, sorry, but basically I chopped off the top and the bottom and I shrunk it. So, not very exciting stuff, but there you go. There's that. Okay. Where was I? Alright, let's load this guy into our media library. So you can drop files straight into your media library if you want. And now we have Sunset Musicians. So there's that there. So now we can use this for whatever we like. So let's go put it onto our, I like it maybe down at the bottom, just as a cool, something to break up the wall of text a little bit whenever you have a chance. Let's go down to the bottom here. Put it right at the end. Let's do a media embed. Oh no, wait, I'm wrong. Image embed. Image. There it is. Do it from here. I would like it centered. And then I think you could put in your custom dimensions here if you want, if I'm not mistaken. But let's just see what it looks like as is. And then this is the syntax that it uses. Yeah, so now it's down in here. I might be able to make that a little smaller if we want to, but most of the time we're going to be viewing it in this format, so that's actually not too bad. So I like that size in that particular layout. And then as we learn more CSS and stuff like that, we can do some transitions or animations or something along those lines with that, and make that do something interesting, make it a useful something you can use that would take you somewhere on our page. So that's pretty cool so far. Okay, that's our front page taken care of. We don't have anything in the form or in form yet to bother with, although we have our cool text now. When we start possibly playing this game, we may put some stuff in the forums. This is the calendar. This is our Thanksgiving reminder that we put in last time. I think we can edit the event with our little pen and paper thing here. So I gotta leave before this, so let's change the time. I'll have to go at 12:30, so we're going to call it Thanksgiving alternate stream schedule. Watch videos of Jinx hand drawing maps while you cook turkey and deal and escape your family. That's not true. Families are fun in small doses. Okay, I do not need to send a notification. Save. Boop. And then it tells you over here on the side what we're doing. So that's handy if you need to schedule games with folks. generally what you use the calendar for. Okay, let's move on to the meat and potatoes, which is our Adventure 1, 2 tickets to paradise. And we need to go through, let's look at it first. And see where we are. Okay, I'm using this Act 1, Chapter 1, Adventure 1, so it's nice and easy to find things as we go, and then we have the subtitle underneath. I think all that's fine. It's our overview outline, which we do need to update because we've added some stuff since then, and we need to go back in and make sure that that's all correct. Make sure we have all the links to the appropriate characters in there, so as we go we'll be updating this little overview so that you can navigate it very simply if you need to. Let's say you stop your game after step 2 and you start the next game, you need to start at step 3 and you'll be able to click and get right to the spot. So we're going to put some navigation aids in there. And then we've got the adventure. And okay, so all the stuff in the text box, this is what we use our block quote custom CSS for, is to make this little shadow, drop shadow text box thing so that you can read this. It looks like parchment color. This is what you read out loud to your players. They read the little intro. I need to get my my link fixed here because I messed my link up. Fix that. And then anything with a colored text is something that you read aloud. Also, you have the option to read aloud. This is the mayor. The mayor is going to give a speech, which we're going to work on here in a second. Also, we're going to use some Tom Petty lyrics because this is Mayor Petty Tom. We need to add our little options thing here, which we did later on. We're going to do something for Rim Berrybuck, who's our town crazy person. I'm going to write some stuff for him, and then we'll move on down from there and add more stuff as we go. So that's a good starting point. Let's just start at the top and work our way down. Add some stuff. Because what we've done up to this point is get our notes, our rough notes down on paper. Now we need to refine them a little bit. Okay. Okay, this is where I've messed up our thing here. So let me take this out. See if we can get it to work correctly. Church of Rhea. No. Messed something up. Question mark. That's a weird one. Maybe it's because I'm changing the odd little glitch. Let's just take it out for now. It's probably where I was messing around trying to get some text effects to work, and I've tweaked something I didn't want to tweak. Okay, this is the prisoner one. This is how you do colorful text kind of stuff. This will be hard to see, so I'll read it. So I wanted it bold, so I enclosed it with asterisks on either side. Then percentile, curly brackets, color colon red in this case, curly brackets, and then type whatever you want, and then end it the same way with the percentile and the asterisk to get the bold thing. Here's our Mayor Petty Tom. So his picture shows up there. Then we have the mayor of the town. That's the link to send you to the mayor. Steps up and gives a speech, quietly condemning the actions of the church representatives and calling for mercy. All right, I think we should put the speech in here so it's readable. So I'm going to copy paste this color section from up above. Control C to copy. Control V to paste. We're going to change the color from red to, I think you can do something like dark green. I think it accepts dark and light. And then we're going to do the speech. Alright, the speech, I think, should be, since this is Mayor Petty Tom, and this is the first time I'll hear somebody talk in the game, that we should do something related to Tom Petty lyrics, which I've taken the liberty of looking up a handful of his albums, song names, and some lyrics pages, which we'll go through real quick. But we're doing. We want to indicate that the mayor is not on board with what the church is doing, but he is stuck in a situation where he can't really stop them. So we're looking for things about rebellion and disagreement and hurt, as a matter of fact, things like that. So I think we can start with something cool. It's just a handful. I think we can start with this from The Last DJ, one of his bigger hits from not really recently, but recently enough for Tom. So I'm going to copy and paste this little section, and then we're going to change so that it works with our speech. Okay, so he says, well, the top brass don't like me talking much. And I won't play what they say to play. Can't change what they don't want to change. Alright, let's get a few more lyrics to throw in there. About fooled again, I don't like it. So I've been fooled again, and I don't like it. This is my impression of Tom Petty, by the way. It's, if you start with Bob Dylan and you make yourself a little more eloquent and kind of, I already have sleepy eyes, but try to make your eyes kind of sleepy, like you've seen a lot of the world. You can't really hold a note for very long, but you're still a rock star, and it's kind of cool. That's how much of a rebel Tom Petty is. He doesn't even really sing that much. More talk singing. Don't do me like that. That'd be good. How about surrender? You can do something about surrender. We gotta surrender this time, folks. What other lyrics from Tom can we use? Let's do this one. If you were in the public eye. That's from Don't Do Me Like That. So I'm wondering if your players didn't know that this would, if you just put this into one of your current games, they didn't know it was going to have a bunch of musical puns, how long would it take them to get it? Before I assume they would get it. My group would get it right away, but my group is also about the same age as me, so they would know all the songs that I'm referencing. And if you're playing with a different age group, it might not happen. Giving someone else. If you were in the public eye, like I am, you know you better watch your step. You're gonna get hurt yourself. That's all I got to say about that. Okay, I think that's pretty good. We'll save some of these other ones for when. Well, that's pretty good too. Can you help me cast this evil down? That's for No Second Thoughts. Let's use that one also. Where do we put that guy? Right in here, I think. Okay. Let's save it and see where we are. Hey, it's Kobold Guy again. What's up? Philo's curious how you would roleplay a creature made up of multiple faces, voices of rock stars that have passed the many-face gods of rock and roll. That's a good question. That's a reference to a previous game that I ran where there was a deity that was encountered called the many-face god. It was named after a place of Quan something, and and the religious zealot guy who was interpreting for the god had to consult the god whenever a question was asked because he couldn't think for himself. He would turn and be like, "One moment, I must consult the many-face god." The many-face god says that you were right. I think we did it. It was like an hour's worth of me doing that in the game. Okay, here's our speech. The top brass don't like me talking so much. Okay, the dark green needs to be brightened up just a little bit, so it pops out a little more. But other than that, that's not bad. Okay, so that's the mayor's speech. We'll change the green on that. What's next? We've got they brand the prisoner. Here's the magic item. Need to put a period there. They cry out. Okay, I want to do my options menu that I did from earlier, which I'll show you how to do that, but let's go ahead and get back to that point. Yeah, so if I were Throwback Thursday. No. Kobolds are welcome to the stream. Feel free. It's let's see here. Alright, so we're going to change this speech color. Let's just try straight up green. And then we needed a conductor's baton of branding. Put a period there. Okay, so what's happening with the mark gets answered if they decide to investigate. So we're going to do our accordion option that we did before. This is how we're, I'll show you what this looks like in a second here, but this gives the players the options. And then when you click the little thing for the different options, then you can change it. So just allow me to see what my options were. So they can either interfere or they can investigate are the two options right now. So let's put that in the accordion. Players. Oh, wait, we need option one. Option one. Players interfere. Option two. The players investigate. And then the guards don't want to hurt anyone. Wait, let's do the guards have orders not to hurt anyone, but will group up to push interlopers out of the town square. If things turn violent, they will attempt to arrest. No, they will attempt to defuse the situation or arrest anyone who refuses to cooperate. Okay, option two, the players investigate. Most of the townsfolk are too upset to say much, except for Rim. And then we'll put our options for Rim down there, and then we want to, I think these are saved in here. Okay, here's our accordion code. Let's see what we need to add from what we had before. Yeah, and by the way, I did skip over the question of how you would roleplay a creature made up of multiple faces and voices of rock stars that have passed. You could do, gosh, you could do whole bands at this point. I think I would narrow it down and pick maybe three personalities that they could switch between, something along those lines, and I would come up with a my version of what their voice sounds like and one mannerism to go with it. Let's see what's a good the lead singer from Creed, I think it was. Always did a lot of drills, pulled it in when they was singing. That's a good mannerism. You could throw that in for anything. Each problem gets its own face. That's some deep stuff right there. Sarcasmus. Very deep. Alright, here's our accordion. We got our option one, players interfere. Cards have orders not to hurt anyone. We'll group up to push interlopers out of town square. And delay them long enough for the ceremony to be completed. Now we can get rid of this. If they try to investigate, and then we have our link to Berry Buck, which I think we can put in here. So, except for, I'm just going to cut and paste this link. Cut is Control X on PCs. Except for, this is our link to our character page for Rim Berrybuck, who's one of our NPCs. And then let's see what I want to get for the rest of this. Comma, the local madman who wanders the streets preaching about the end of the world. He can answer some of the PC's questions, but is easily distracted and has very little useful information. Okay, so now we can get rid of this. Let's preview, see where we are. Okay, so here's our options. There's a third option if we can come up with one. I don't think kobolds are dumb. I happen to like kobolds quite a lot. According to several rulebooks, kobolds are master tacticians. Just throwing that out there. Okay, so here's what it looks like when you do your accordion. You have a little option. You click on it, it opens up a little thing, so you can read. Click on the next one and closes that one, opens this one up, and so on and so forth. We get a third one that we don't need right now, but we can put that in later if we come up with what other crazy thing might they do. Maybe they just ignore it. That could be one thing. Alright, now we want to, these are the things we need Rim to talk about. I think that we can make, since he's kind of a random dude, I think we make sort of a random kind of thing, roll randomly to see what the crazy guy is all about. So let's go to the players investigate, and here's our link to Rim. Here's what we know about Rim so far. He's a former cleric who lost his religion, sometimes swims at night. So I think in our adventure log we will put the random things that he knows. We can do that inside our accordion thing. Actually, I need to update this part too once we get a chance. That's good. Good reminder for that bit. Okay. Oh, I forgot to save, didn't I? I did. Oh well. Alright, let's fix it. Always remember to hit the save button. Can't just go back. Couldn't be that easy, could it? I'm not that lucky. No, we're not. We wish we were. Oh well. Alright, let me get fresh one here. Alright, here's where we want our options to be. We kept the mayor's speech, so at least we still got that going for us. Let's do our options again. We'll do our third one this time, so we don't have to go back in and edit that. Option 1. Let's make option 1 players stand and observe. Option 2, because that's the most likely thing at level 1 that your players are going to just listen to you describe things. They may not even know that they're allowed to jump in if they're new players. Option 2, the players interfere. And then option 3, the players investigate. Okay, players stand and observe. The mayor and most of the citizens seem disgusted and terrified of the proceedings, but they do nothing to stop the guards, the nobles, or the church. Option 2, the players interfere. As we wrote before, the guards have standing orders not to hurt anyone, but will instead try to delay interlopers, ganging up and pushing them out of the town square if possible. If things turn violent, they will attempt to de-escalate the situation. And may eventually arrest someone who does not relent. Option 3, the players investigate. Most of the citizens are too upset and afraid to talk about the proceedings to strangers, except for Rem, a local madman who knows a few important details but is easily distracted. Okay. Now we're going to go save it. And there they are. Okay, let's edit again. Put in the links that we need and do some updates. Too far. Okay, here's our accordion code. And let's put in a wiki link to Churcheria. And let's put in a wiki link to Rem, or a character link rather. Insert. Put his last name in. Okay, now we need a section on, so we can get rid of this stuff now. Again. delete. Let's do Grim's Ramblings. And then I want to do, let's see, we're putting our instructions for the DM into parentheses, so we'll do a d6 roll. Roll 1d6 for a random saying, and then we can number them with our little number list feature, little numbers of the line up here. So number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. Alright, now we just fill these in. And we've already written some of these. The end of the world is upon us, but I feel fine. We're going to make these quotes, I think. Every other one will be something fairly useful. Church of Rhea has been branding people who speak out against them for several months. They're never right afterward. Let's see. Late at night, you can hear strange music from deep beneath the town. Oh, I'm going to put in, I go night swimming. Alternatively, you can convert the classic roll table into a random generator insertable. And you can click the item to reroll. Cool. Didn't know that one. That's pretty nifty. That's your, yeah, there is a, Obsidian Portal does have a dice rolling kind of feature stuff that you can use. Cool stuff. We'll get the little dice roller up here, which I'll show you in a second once we finish our table. I'll show you how it works. Didn't know you could do that. That's a pretty neat little thing. There's a bunch of features. You could probably play with this stuff for years and not find all the cool stuff you can do with it. Okay, what else did we have on our list that we already wrote? One of the pirate ships in port, secretly a pirate vessel. I think we'll do that one as number 5. Port is secretly pirate vessel. Okay, so that's all of these we can get rid of. Let's look for some other, I got some REM albums and lyrics. We can look up a couple more. This is who REM is based on, is some of the members of REM. They're a little bit crazy and weird. If any of these strike anybody, shout out in the chat. Grab these pull maps and legends. These guys wrote a lot of songs. I mean, a ridiculous amount of songs. Voice of Herald. I really do that. Bandwagon. You can expand on these lists and stuff too whenever you're making a recurring NPC. You might need a few more extra sayings for them. You could do something like a wise old woman with a bunch of sort of things. One of our players in one game used actual fortune cookies for one monk type character, and then somebody else did one where they wrote down fortune cookie type sayings from a book and rolled randomly. Those are kind of cool. I don't sleep, I dream. Oh yeah, there's is it day sleeper? Was that one of theirs? Let's put that in. I'm a day sleeper. I don't sleep, I dream. Let's just be his random saying. Doesn't really mean much. Let's look at some other popular songs. Oh yeah, consider this. That'd be good to throw into one of those. I'll put that in this one. Consider this. Losing my religion. We can do that one. How about I believe? That's a good one. Yeah, this one looked like a cool, crazy guy saying. We'll just copy paste some of that. When I was young and full of grace, and spirited rattlesnake. We'll shorten it a little. Fever fell, my spirit, I will not tell. One of the ships in port is secretly a pirate vessel. I think I'm losing my religion. Sounds like something a crazy guy would say, right? Okay, I think that's pretty good. That's our 6, right? And while we're here, let's make sure that we are, because we're about to get to Priscilla for the next part. Okay, take me to the Paradise City. Characters arrive and see the sights. They witness. Party witnesses. Let's do a wiki link for church. The Church of Rhea. Branding prisoners in a ceremony. Oh yeah, that's part of our thing, isn't it? Never mind, we didn't need to put that in there. I already wrote it. Do need to change where Ren is on this. Let's cut his link out of here. Cut. Criminals will be branded by the clergy. Mayor Petty Tom gives a speech. Here's where we put in Rim Berrybuck. The local madman may have information for them about it. And then part 2, discovery buried ruins under the walls. Let's make this a separate thing, actually. Okay, under the walls. The 2 number signs again. We'll do an indented number. I think you can do more than just the 2. Maybe we'll be able to go in a couple of times. So we need Priscilla at this part. A local innkeeper. Character link. Priscilla. Asks for help with a we want a rat problem, which I think we can link to the bestiary. I don't know if we can or not. Yeah, there it is. Rats monster. Local rat problem. We can go ahead and put in a couple of these other ones. What else are they going to do? Beneath the inn, a dungeon is discovered. It was formerly a temple to we do one of these already? We did, to the Muses. Oh yeah, we got one for the Hidden Temple of the Muses too. To the Muses. And then we can change this temple part. Yep, there it is. Was formerly a. Let's change this to temple. Temple to the Muses. Okay. There's that. We got White Wedding, an unwilling bride to be needs the band's help. And we know on this one, it's let's do a character link for Evie Nix. A noble girl begs for help escaping an unwanted marriage. And then I think that's good for now. Let's save it and see how far we got. Okay, so here's our outline now. We've got it broken up into chunks. The links look like they lead to where we want them to lead. And we've got us down to about there, where they have the different options about how to get into the Masquerade Ball, which is the climax of the adventure. And we have some post-adventure notes. But that's basically what you want to do when you're laying out your notes, is make it easy on yourself to find the different stuff that you need to find from wherever you are. Okay. That's pretty good. Oh yeah, we wanted to change the color of that. That's part of the thing we didn't save, so let's change that. Okay, here's his random sayings. Here's what we did earlier. So if the players investigate, most of the citizens are too upset and afraid to talk about the proceedings to strangers, except for Brim Berrybuck. You can click on the link to get to his thing. The local madman who knows a few important details but is easily distracted. And then you have Brim's ramblings. Roll 1d6 for a random saying. So on my account, I have the dice roller option. So I can roll a d6 if I want to. And it'll appear down here at the bottom. Roll 1d6, and I rolled a 1. So on the 1, I get, he says, the end of the world is upon us, but I feel fine. He doesn't have a very distinctive voice. You can kind of half sing it if you wanted to, if you're looking for some voice acting tips. Just listen to some of his music, and you'll start to pick up some of REM's vocal qualities. Okay, so we can go ahead and clean that up later, and I'm not gonna do every little detail on stream. I can do that after the fact and make it look pretty. But okay, so continuing on, we go down. Priscilla gets them into the inn. They fight some rats in the cellar. They discover the broken wall. They go into the hidden temple of the muses, which is our little mini dungeon, which has a handful of rooms. One of the maps I'll be doing next week is probably cleaning up our dungeon map and making it look a little sharper. So you can tune in next week for that part. Here's some more rats they have to fight. Workshop, they start to discover things. They find the cistern, they find the way out of town, they find the way under the mansion for later. Trapdoor to the mayor's mansion. And here's the white wedding part. Here's where they have the different options for how they're getting into the wedding if they're doing that. Here's our little isometric map that we made. I need to finish that also for the second floor and the basement. So you have that to look at. That was a couple of episodes ago. They have the ballroom, which is probably where the final confrontation with this guy is going to happen. That's Baron Brad to the bone. Brad. And he is the betrothed to Evie Nix. They can decide to get her out however they like, if they want to do that, and then that's that. And that's the end of that particular adventure. So we got a pretty good run there on that. But you get the general idea. I'm going to clean up your notes and make it look pretty nice. Okay, let's see what else we can clean up today. Our wiki, where we're storing the bulk of our regular notes. It's not very pretty yet. We do have one image in here to break up our custom rules and our different stuff for our world notes, basically there. We don't have a ton of things in there, but we can add to that as we think of stuff. We do have a pretty good bestiary going on. But we have Def Leppard's Kid Rock. Rock is a giant evil. Rats with an extra T. Is there extra mean? The Rock Beatles, which factored into our history. And Skeletons of Society, Ungrateful Dead, Werewolves of London, Yardbirds, and the Zombies. Oh yeah, the stairs lead up to something. What was that going to be? I don't recall. Let's look that up. Yeah, when I do notes, I often skip around and leave placeholders. So let's see if we can Control F. Yep, here we go. It's a good eye. Good eye. If you're trying to find stuff on a page, on a PC at least, it's Control F. Gives you a little search bar down here at the bottom. You type in what you want, and you can find stuff. But for X's. Okay. Beyond the Black Door. This is the workshop inside of our dungeon. Beyond the Black Door. The air is still and dry. Lacework cobwebs fill the archway leading to a rectangular chamber that narrows, funnel-like at the far end and continues as a narrow corridor. Shadowy shapes in the darkness come into focus. Brick steps leading upward to a sealed opening above. 2 workbenches cluttered with old tools and a blanket of cobwebs and dust, and stacks of iron pipes. Some of these are rusted and half collapsed in piles of debris. Others seem to have been treated and preserved somehow, and remain in decent condition. They have been cut with a great precision, and a few of them have square holes and carefully arranged patterns. These are the pipes for our magical rock organ, but they don't know that yet. The doorway across from you has also been sealed completely. Okay, the stairs used to lead up to X, but have been blocked off at the ceiling with a huge slab of granite. That's what we're trying to figure out now. So let's look at our map section. Bringing up the maps, we have 2 maps of importance. The Paradise City map, and the Hidden Temple of the Muses map, which have remarkably similar shapes, because one of them is the underground version of the other one. So let's zoom out a bit, and we'll try and line these up so I can show you how they meet up. Let's see if I can get these pretty close. Maybe a little off here. Yeah, you get the general idea though between the two. Actually, I think I can open this in a new window so I can line it up a little bit better, so we can compare the two maps. Let's see where we are. Yeah, that's pretty close. We'll do this one. Alright, so here's our two maps. Roughly the same size, not quite, but pretty close. And this is our underground thing going on. This is our overland map, our town, Paradise City. So we're zooming into the workshop, which I will be updating these maps in the next week or so here so that they come out a little bit easier to read since we drew them on stream. So this is the workshop that we're talking about right here, if you can see that. And down here, this little trapezoid with lines in it is... Oh, wait, you can't see that. No, I'm sorry, because I've got it the wrong thing. Sorry, hang on a second. It only wants to show one at a time. Okay, let's see if that comes up. Sorry, that's a problem with OBS. It doesn't want to show two windows at the same time. It only wants to show the one. Let me bring that up. Okay. So we have our workshop. We have a blocked door, which I can't get through this adventure. And we have this stairway leading up. So we need to figure out how that matches up with our town. And so that's going to be, let's zoom in over here. Put it up next to it. Let's see if we can get them to line up correctly. Alright, so here's our Heartbreak Inn. Here's the crack in the wall where they go in. Oops, wrong one. Which will be right about here. Crack in the wall right about here. We're looking to go down to where the stairs are. Down to where the stairs are, we'll put them somewhere in the vicinity of one of these buildings down here. That's my guess. So it could be Aerosmith, it could be one of the buildings in this direction. Probably off to the side. That's Alice the Cooper. That's not quite right. And this guy's too... Iron Man Smithy is too high up. So we want one of these buildings down in here. So we get to pick a building, and that's going to be where it lines up. And that's going to go up into that. Yeah, okay. So... let's pick a funny name. If anybody has any funny names, musical pun names that would work for a shop or some kind of building in town, might be good. Let's think. do. See, most of the bands and things we've picked already are from the 70s, 80s, and a couple from the 90s. Do some metal bands. You could do just anything really. We're already using the Doors for something else. It's pretty good though. So, Okay, I've got one. The stairs used to lead up to an old shop, an old workshop called the Led Zeppelin. Okay, so the Led Zeppelin was the workshop. I would say that there are airships in this game, now that we've created the Led Zeppelin workshop. Bashful rocks. I'll say that there are airships in this game, and perhaps that's how the people who were escaping this particular temple back in the day maybe got away. They went up to the airship workshop. They had a small airship at the very tippy top of the thing, and they got out. So I think that's what we're going to use for that. What else do we have in here? Okay, that's all we had in that one, so that one's good. Alright. So we've got that for later. Okay. Let's skip the wiki for now and do characters. Let's see if there's anything we can add to characters. So we have our player character archetypes. We don't need to add too much to them right now. That's just who we're writing the world for, which we're going to talk about some things to do for Wanda here in a little bit. We've got our non-player characters. Some of them have tags, so they're easily searchable, so that we know that they are foes or where they're from, things like that. We've got some tags for the mayor is attached to Paradise City, for example. Some of these people might not be the whole time, so I don't want to lock them in necessarily. We've got the Carts, who are a rival band trying to musical man line. Yep. We've got our optional character for a love triangle if you need one. We've got a hero who's lost currently. We've got the Killer Queen and whatnot, but I think we had talked about. Let's look at Sir Lindy. Okay, yeah. So we had talked about in the description of the character, giving them for to make it easy on yourself, notes on a voice and mannerisms and the items that they might have in their description. And I think we need to go through and let's do that for at least one other character who doesn't have one of those yet. So let's go back. And I think we've got all the critical people. Let's see if we got Ren. Yeah, we don't have Ren yet, so let's do Ren. So voice and mannerisms we need to do. So in his description, We will do voice. Mannerisms. I don't think he has any. Not have too many items, but we'll do. He has ragged priestly robes that are fairly intact. Remember, he's a former priest of the Church of Rhea who has gone crazy and given it up. We can write a little story about that later on too, as they investigate further into the church and its doings. Maybe he was branded once to test it, and that's how he knows about things. So the voice, let's give him a sing-song voice. Let's give him a distant sing-song voice. He occasionally hums strange tunes. And then mannerisms. Rarely makes eye contact. Often stares upward as though speaking to the heavens. And then I'm going to write 90s dancing, which, if you don't know, was small movements and this stuff with your hands. I don't know what it was either. Nobody knows. Random hand gestures. Okay. Save. Okay, that looks good to me. So we would go through and do voice and mannerisms for anybody that you think as an NPC needs that sort of stuff. Some of your NPCs can just have sort of generic voices, like the various shopkeepers and stuff like that, and you don't have to go into quite as much detail if you don't need to. Let's do a quick once over of items. We've got our bandana of censorship, which is cursed, which was a user suggestion. We've got the one sitar, which is an artifact which may play into our later game material. We've got the item of the moment, the conductor's baton of branding. And Megadeth was another user suggestion for a cool magic item we can give out at some point in the future, or use as part of a story thing. Okay, so the conductor's baton of branding, this is what the Church of Rhea has. Golden wand with a large ruby clutched at one end. Glows briefly, leaves a black and white brand on whomever it touches. Church of Rhea owns it, and it removes your access to magical spells, powers, and abilities. So it's a very powerful item in the wrong hands, especially. So that's that. That looks pretty good. I like that description. I think we're good on that sort of thing. And then maps we already briefly checked out. We have our kingdom map, which I'll be upgrading next week. This is just a rough sketch, and we need to make that pretty, make that nice. eventually we'll need a world map too when they get out. But let's look ahead and see. Here's our starter town, which is Paradise City, as we know. We have the fallen obelisk, we have the carved faces, which are probably going to be renamed the Talking Heads. We'll come up with names for all of these little locations, these special sites. We did a random dice rolling thing to sort of make this work. But our starter town, Paradise City, is down here. So where can they get to in the next couple of games? This is generally the region we want them to stay in, this little, not quite a bay, but pretty close to it, and this little overland region inside. Here we get some hills up to the north, so we can add some details. So we'll need to do that before we start writing game 2. Have our map detailed a little bit more. So that's pretty good there. Okay, so last call for our chat challenge. If anybody else wants to throw in any of their favorite albums, artists, or songs, whatever you like, you have just a moment here to do so, and we'll see if we can throw them into our plan for early adventures, our low-level section, which should get you from about levels 1 to about level 5. For your group of, let's say, up to 6 characters. Get them there. Starter town, Demo. I don't get the reference. You'll have to explain that one to me. I'm not as hip as I look. I know. Oh, demo tape. That's good. I like that. Huge mouth monster with an appetite for destruction. That's good. Ghost of Perdition by Opeth. Opeth's good. I like that too. Ghost of Perdition is actually a really good name, because I was thinking about doing a horror section. So yeah, I think that's good. I think we can use both of those. The mouthed monster for appetite for destruction sounds good too, because that would explain the big giant walls that we never really explained around our Paradise City. Yeah, Demo as the starter area sounds great. I think we're going to use all of those suggestions right now. So let's edit this part first. Okay. Big giant monster. Okay, we've already got our journey as our our second adventure. I think we're going to use the horror stuff. Sounds like a level 3 maybe, level 3 or 4. You wrote an adventure based on a song from that album and we haven't played it yet? Well, we gotta play that then. Ghost of Perdition. Okay, we're using that for our adventure 3. Okay, adventure 3 is Ghost of Perdition Opeth. And that's going to be I'll clean this up later. I'm just trying to get my notes down. Horror adventure in Marilyn's mansion. Where the created creature known as Frampton comes alive once more. You could do all kinds of horror puns in a horror game. Ghost of Perdition. That's good. Okay. And then the appetite for destruction, also very good. I think we're going to put that in Adventure 4. Appetite for destruction. a massive monster made of mouths. Is discovered near Paradise City and must be met with metal mayhem. It's thrown out there. That'd be really cool. They have to go defeat it with music. They have to rock out so hard that they kill it. I think that'd be awesome. The party must rock out hard enough to kill an unkillable beast. The GNR. GNR. That's good. Awesome. Throw rocks. Exactly. Rock out. That's where the expression comes from in this world, shall we say. Okay, and then I think Adventure 5, since we're short on time here, this is where they're going to be going against they're going after the rock organ itself. They have to beat it with the Symphony of Destruction. Yeah, that could work. Maybe they discovered the music, some ancient music magic, and they put it together and do some ritual magic. That might be good. Let me put that on here too. Symphony of Destruction. Megadeth. Maybe that's where they pick up the Megadeth magic item. Metal licks the large frog monster in plate mail. Metallica. Metallica. That's good. I'll put that in the bestiary in a second. Okay. When you throw metal at music, yes. Yeah, I think it would be you're using musical magic to create blades, is what I would say. So you're literally throwing metal with music. I think that's cool. I'm just going to call Adventure 5 Rage Against the Machine for now. Because they're going to be breaking. We're trying to stop or otherwise use the rock organ. Stop the evil of the rock organ. My thought is that maybe the church gets to it before they do as one option. That's what happens. Wall of Daggers. Very metal. That's almost as metal as you can get. That's where rock music comes from. Okay. That's good for now. I think that's a good plan for the future here. We've got it laid out. They'll do a little bit of traveling in Adventure 2. They'll see the world around their particular area, encounter some other folks. And now we've got a roadmap for the next couple of shows at least. Okay. I think that's pretty good for now. We're going to go ahead and make this the end, I believe. So next week will be episode 14. As I said, it's Thanksgiving, so it's a little weird. Oh, thanks, Philos. We appreciate your support and you showing up in the chat. Same goes true for everybody who showed up here. For those of you who I know in real life, I will try and make sure you are well fed in the next week where Thanksgiving is, and many Thanksgiving festivities. So next week, Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, which is GMT -5, I think, and it'll be slightly modified. I'll be showing some videos of me doing the mapping, if I can figure out how my fast motion stuff works, and get the videos ready to go. Yeah, this props turned out pretty well. Oh yeah, did you want to see the final product? By the way, I've got a couple of them. Here's what we did last week, is make our dragon scales, our octave keys. This is one of them. Here's another one that we had. Still got to do the backs, but that's our 2 dragon scales. We made some props for tabletop props too. Oh, I had a user suggestion, by the way. If you need a sight cone or some kind of cone-shaped effect for something for like a guard is looking, you can just take a pipe cleaner and bend it into the appropriate cone shape. So you're looking down at your map, and then your guard is viewing this way, and then your rogue sneaks behind it and clocks him or something. You definitely can watch while you cook, but just be aware that I will be getting ready for my own Thanksgiving stuff. So you'll be watching previously recorded stuff with me bookending it. I'll still keep the hat, don't worry. But yeah, that's basically what we've got going on next week. Don't forget to tune in on Tuesdays also if you want to learn more of the CSS stuff. I'm definitely going to be there. Same channel. Kalak is the one doing those shows. Kalak Codes, and he's doing CSS work, and you can learn all kinds of stuff there, as we will be doing. And that's about it. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Oh, one of the red wizards from the south. Yeah, I know what you mean. More bard than wizard, but I multi-class into as many things as my DM allows me to. That's it for today. See you guys next time. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Happy holiday stuff for next week for those of you in the U.S. who are doing that. Thanks a lot. All right. Bye.